Have you ever found yourself saying yes to something that made you deeply uncomfortable just to keep the peace? Or maybe you've bitten your tongue when someone crossed your boundaries because, well, that's what we were taught to do, right? After 6 decades of life, it's amazing how many of us still struggle to stand up for ourselves. Today, I'm sharing the 7 things you should absolutely never tolerate after 60, regardless of who's involved. By the end of this article, you'll have clear strategies to protect your peace, preserve your dignity, and make these golden years truly golden, not tarnished by the demands and disrespect of others. Item 1, disrespect of your time. You know those people who are consistently late to meet you? Or the family members who drop by unannounced, expecting you to drop everything? Or perhaps the friends who cancel plans at the last minute, assuming your schedule is flexible because you're retired? This kind of behavior sends a clear message. Their time is valuable, but yours isn't. And the truth is, at this stage of life, time is our most precious resource. Every minute wasted waiting for someone who's chronically late is a minute you'll never get back. How to address this? Be direct but kind. I've noticed we have different approaches to punctuality, and I value my time highly. Going forward, I'll wait 15 minutes. Then I'll need to move on with my day. Establish clear visiting protocols. I love seeing you, but I need you to call before coming over so I can be prepared to give you my full attention. Remember that your boundaries aren't up for debate. They're statements, not questions. I had a friend who was consistently 30 minutes late to our lunch dates. After decades of tolerating it, I finally explained that I'd be ordering after 15 minutes and leaving after finishing my meal. The first time I followed through, she was shocked, but she's been on time ever since. Item 2. Dismissal of your health concerns. Has a doctor ever made you feel silly for bringing up a concern? Or has a family member brushed off your symptoms with "that's just part of getting older"? This kind of dismissal isn't just frustrating, it can be dangerous. After 60, our bodies are changing, and we know when something doesn't feel right. Yet many healthcare providers and even well-meaning family members dismiss legitimate concerns as inevitable aging, anxiety, or seeking attention. What you can do: document everything. Keep a symptom journal with dates, times, and details that you can present factually. Bring an advocate to important appointments. Sometimes a second voice adds legitimacy. Be prepared to seek second opinions without apology. Your health is worth the extra effort. My neighbor Margaret mentioned leg pain to her doctor for months, only to be told it was normal aging. When she finally insisted on tests, they found a serious circulation issue that required immediate intervention. Her persistence likely saved her leg and possibly her life. Item 3, financial pressure or manipulation. Whether it's adult children expecting financial support while making questionable decisions, friends pressuring you to spend beyond your comfort zone, or organizations making you feel obligated to donate. Financial pressure has no place in your life after 60. The harsh reality is that your financial security is non-negotiable at this stage. You've worked hard for decades, and your resources need to sustain you potentially for many more years. How to handle this? Develop standard responses. I need to check my budget before committing more. That's not in my financial plan right now. Remember that your financial information is private. You don't owe anyone explanations about your resources or choices. For family especially, consider offering alternative support. Your time, wisdom, or skills instead of money. I watched my sister drain her retirement, helping her son through one emergency after another. By the time she realized the pattern, her financial security was compromised, and ironically, her son had never developed financial independence. Item 4, outdated social expectations. You know those subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, pressures about how someone your age should dress, act, date, or spend their time. The raised eyebrows when you mention taking up a new hobby or changing your appearance. The comments about acting your age. These outdated social expectations can slowly erode your sense of freedom and authentic self-expression. After decades of living to please others or fulfill roles, many of us finally have the opportunity to discover who we truly are, only to face a new set of restrictive expectations. What works? Develop a strong personal mantra. Mine is, I'm not responsible for meeting other people's expectations. Repeat it often. Surround yourself with age-positive influences, books, media, and especially people who celebrate reinvention at any age, become comfortable with the phrase. This works for me. No further explanation needed. At 67, I decided to go back to college to study art history, something I'd always been passionate about. Several friends questioned why I'd waste money on education at my age. 5 years later, I'm leading museum tours and having the time of my life. Those questioning friends? They're still doing the same things, counting down to the end, while I'm counting up new experiences. Item 5. Unsolicited advice about your lifestyle. Isn't it interesting how everyone suddenly becomes an expert on how you should live once you pass 60? Whether it's children worrying about your living situation, friends questioning your activity level, or strangers commenting on your diet or medication choices, unsolicited advice can feel like a constant intrusion. This kind of input, however well-intentioned, undermines your autonomy and suggests you're no longer capable of making sound decisions. After 6+ decades of successfully navigating life, that's more than a little insulting. How to handle it? Use the thank and move on technique. Thank you for your concern. I'll give that some thought. Distinguish between concern and control. Sometimes loved ones mask control as caring, and recognizing the difference is crucial. Be proactive about sharing your plans and decisions before others can question them. This positions you as the authority on your life. My friend David's children kept pushing him to sell his house and move to a retirement community. Instead of arguing, he invited them over individually, showed them his detailed aging-in-place modifications, introduced them to his support network, and walked them through his emergency plans. The pressure stopped because he demonstrated he wasn't ignoring the realities of aging. He was addressing them on his own terms. Item 6. Relationship imbalance. This is the big one that so many of us struggle to address, especially with long-term relationships. I'm talking about friendships where you're always the giver, family relationships where you're expected to accommodate everyone else's needs, or romantic partnerships where your interests and preferences take a permanent backseat. After 60, the painful truth emerges. Some relationships have never been reciprocal, and they never will be unless something changes. The people who consistently take more than they give, who expect you to adapt while never adapting themselves, who monopolize conversations, but never truly listen. These imbalances become increasingly costly as our energy and time grow more precious. What you can do: conduct a relationship inventory. Which connections leave you energized, and which leave you drained? Start small, adjust your availability, and effort to match what's being returned to you. Be willing to have the difficult conversation. I've noticed our relationship seems unbalanced lately. I value you and would like to find more mutual ground. After decades of organizing family gatherings, coordinating all communication, buying all gifts, and keeping track of everyone's important dates, I finally told my family I needed shared responsibility. Some stepped up beautifully. Others showed they were only interested in the benefits of family, not the work. This clarity, though initially painful, has been incredibly freeing. Item 7. Technology shaming. Let's talk about something that didn't even exist for most of our lives, but now seems to be everywhere: technology shaming. You know what I mean? The eye rolls when you ask for help with your smartphone, the impatient sighs when you're not immediately proficient with new software, or the dismissive "it's so easy" comments that make you feel somehow deficient. This particular form of disrespect fails to acknowledge an important truth: most of us are technological immigrants, not natives. We've adapted to more technological change than any generation in human history, and that adaptability deserves respect, not ridicule. How to address this? Be unapologetic about your learning pace. Everyone learns differently, and speed isn't the measure of intelligence. Seek age-friendly learning resources. There are excellent tutorials specifically designed for our generation's learning style. Consider this powerful response: I've learned many new technologies throughout my life, and I'll learn this too in my own way and time. Conclusion. As we wrap up, let's review the 7 things you should never tolerate after: disrespect of your time, dismissal of your health concerns, financial pressure, outdated social expectations, unsolicited lifestyle advice, relationship imbalance, and technology shaming. Standing up against these common forms of disrespect isn't about becoming difficult or inflexible. It's about recognizing your inherent value and ensuring these precious years aren't diminished by others. Expectations or convenience. Remember, setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's necessary for meaningful relationships and a fulfilling life. You've earned the right to protect your peace.